Welcome to this week's episode of The Rutledge Perspective. And I am thrilled to have another amazing woman on my show this week. And just the serendipity that's happened for me to be finding these incredible women. And I know they're out there, but for them to be crossing my path is just, I know, just divine download and divine intervention. And so I am pleased to introduce you to Danielle P. Jeter. And I'm going to give you just a quick few things about her. And then we're just going to dive in because you'll get all the stuff in the show notes. So Danielle is a dynamic change agent and an award-winning travelpreneur, garnering 12 years as a CEO and a trusted advisor to politicians, institutions, CEOs, and youth. And she has proven strategies that have garnered her opportunities to share the stage with many guests, including guests like Master P and Kindred The Family Soul. She is an incredible CEO and has started a nonprofit organization as the founder and president of Women in Media Global. Danielle P. Jeter, thank you so much for being on the show.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me as your guest.
This is just going to be awesome. I cannot wait to have this conversation because we are a couple of decades apart, but also, I mean, just some of the things we've talked about when we were first meeting. I was like, I have to have this woman on my show. So here's where I want to start. I want you to tell people kind of what you told me in that nutshell of how you got to be Danielle P. Jeter, CEO, global leader, this thing right now. Tell us how you got here.
Sure. Where should I begin? So I've always been a individual who loves community, who loves being with people, and who loves positivity, bringing people together for an awesome time, for a positive time. So I was always that student leader in middle school and high school, and I was consistently following the things that I love to do, which is performing and dance. And so at a young age, I started to dance at 6 years old. And I've trained my entire life in ballet, jazz, modern, African dance, hip hop. And so being in theater and dancing and just being a part of all these student organizations, it just continued to just lead me to the next thing in life, making sure that I always did the things I love to do, which brings me back to center and to my core values. And so I allowed that to then take me to Spellman College because I wanted to attend an HBCU so I could dance in the band, just like Drumline. I saw that movie and it inspired me. And I said, I want to do that. So I figured out how to make that happen. And so Spelman students, it's an all-female institution, but we actually sit right on the same property as Morehouse College. And so we were able to audition and be in the marching band with Morehouse students where the football team is. And so I was able to go to college and continue to do what I love, which is dance, perform, create community, be vibrant in front of my student leaders and things like that. And during my senior year, 2009, going into 2010, there was the recession. And I said, there's a possibility that I could graduate from Spelman without a job offer because the market is not doing well. And so I decided to take that year off of the dance team and to focus on launching a business. And did not know what I was getting myself into, but I said, well, I have to figure out how to make some money. So I'm going to start a business. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't see myself starting at 19 years old with my first business, AOI events and PR. And so I took some business classes, I got some mentors, I got some internships and experience, and I launched that business October of my senior year. And just doing that has, again, I went that route because I said, I love bringing people together. I love creating space and community. So that took me into the world of event production and promotions and parties, taking that passion out of theater into the space of events. And so that's how I came up with the idea of my company was to create these event experiences to bring people together for an awesome time and to find clients who would pay me to do it. So fast forward, I'm still running that business today. AOI Events and PR is now 13 years old.
Wow. That's incredible. That is just incredible. When you first told me that story, I was like, man, this is a story that needs to be told because I think it is it's the story that says, you know what, not everybody wants to or can go to college. And even if you go, there's no guarantee, right? And we're seeing that a lot now with the challenge with student debt,
no guarantee,
recession before. There's no guarantees, right? Nothing is guaranteed. And yet you were able to take something and have some foresight to say, oh, I could just wait and see what happens, or I could take like my fate in my own hand, at least try, at least make some kind of effort to have a different outcome. And so that's the first thing that really got me thinking, I've got to have this woman on my podcast. But the second thing, and we talked about this, is this whole idea of passion. And we said, we're going to have this conversation because I think it's hard for people to think about this, because what you hear is, old heads like me, that sounds great. And I say that I am very proud to be going on 54. And I've worked hard to be here, although I feel like I'm 20 sometimes, right? Like,
other than the fact, backwards, right?
Right. I think I'm aging backwards because, except for the fact that sometimes I'm like, at 54, there's not much that I'll tolerate anymore. Right. So
good for you.
But when we had this conversation about passion, I said, there are those of us of that generation still. So not the boomers, but kind of that Gen X where I am, that are in that in between. We knew we weren't going to stay at the same place and be there forever. We knew that, but you still had kind of that sense of you do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do, which I think still plays true in some level.
Right.
But we didn't talk a lot about passion. We talked about purpose, but you didn't really think so much about your job being your passion or your calling. If that was what you were going to do, you went out and did your thing, right? If you were either going to work for somebody else or you're going to do your passion. But then the millennials happen, right? And it's like, no. If I'm going to work, I want to be working in my passion, which sounds real good, except that not every job is going to enable you to do your passion. And so how are you going to try to hold a corporation responsible for making sure you're fulfilling your passion? So there's that real, yin yang about passion, but you took passion and turned passion into learning and skill development, and then into action. So tell me a little bit about how, when you say following my passion and using my passion, what does that really mean when you say that for you?
I want to do the things that make me happy, the things that at my core value identify with who I am, where I don't have to compromise how I want to spend my time, how I want to spend my day. And so that whatever I do pursue and invest my time in, that actually I'll do a very good job at it because I want to do this. I want to be here. I'm happy about the way that I spend my time. Right. One thing for sure that my mom has taught me is that life is short. And so you never know. Everybody has a birth and everybody has an end date. And so you never know when that time is going to come. So why not take the opportunity while you have it, while you're still breathing and you're still here, to do what you love to do? Because when you are doing what you love to do, I feel like you're in divine order. And when you're in divine order, that means you're following the calling and the purpose that's for your life. Anytime that you pursue that, you will always be taken care of. Everything will continue to fall into place for you. So you really have nothing to lose. And so what that might look like is a very non-traditional route, a very non-traditional or unconventional career path, but it's certainly one that can be done. And so I remember in high school, I had an English teacher who taught me for many years. And I told him that I wanted to go to college to be a Black history teacher. And he said, you'll be good at anything that you do, but I think it's something different out here for you. So he gave me a book, and the book was Careers for Unconventional People. So even at that, 15, 16 years old, he saw something in me that I didn't fully recognize, but that he knew that I was on a path that was very different and it wasn't the traditional path. So that's what that means to me.
Yeah. God, there's so much there. So there's two places I want to go with that. So one is this idea that you took passion, you developed some skill, right? And you did something, you decided that that's where you wanted to be, and you were willing to prepare yourself, right? And take the risk to do it. I think it's Oprah that says, right, luck is just when opportunity meets preparation. So you prepared and then you moved. The other side of that, though, was this idea of, because you knew what your passion was and you wanted to be in divine order, you took it upon yourself to do it, and you didn't expect someone else to turn something around to make it so for you, right? You didn't go into a Deloitte and say, but this is who I am. So y'all just need to change because this is how I show up. And so that strength and courage that you have to really sit in who you are very strongly, how do you think that has really played into not only your decision to do this for you, but as you talk to other people who are trying to make that decision and maybe did go kind of a traditional route, but aren't really happy, how are you talking to them about really standing in that, but understanding that may mean you have to do something different and may mean you have to do it on your own?
Well, I give very crazy advice, which is to just jump and go for it.
Yeah.
Because that's the experience where I come from. That's where I sit from. Literally, if I see something and I believe in it and I have the confidence, like you just said, and I have the even if I don't have the know-how, I just have the faith that God got me. So I'm just going to jump and I'm just going to figure it out along the way. Right. So my advice is not the most sound advice for people who might be trying to figure things out. But I honestly believe that when you follow your heart and you go after the things that make you happy and the things that you know you're good at, you're going to find a way to make it happen for you. And you're going to continue to just piece your life together, piece by piece by piece.
Right.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy or that it always feels like it makes sense or that you're not going to have hard times. You are going to experience challenges, but like I said, life is short, and utilize the gifts and the skills and the tools that you have inside of you, because at any point in time, our gifts can be removed from us if we're not utilizing them and if we're not really expressing those things. Our gifts and talents are really meant for us to share unto others and share unto the world. It's not meant for us to keep locked up in a cabinet, for us to keep on hold so no one knows that we have a voice. No one knows that we do poetry. No one knows that we can actually perform and sing and play an instrument, or that we have this gift where we can speak life into people. Those are really used to share unto other people. So my advice is to find a way and go for it. I see my experience is a little bit different because I started a business at a very young age. I didn't have many other, circumstances or other people depending on me. I don't have that many dependents, right? So I was able to go full force and to follow the goals and dreams that I have for myself as a businesswoman. And so I often tell young people, if you have a goal to start something, you want to be in business, I say start as young as possible, because you don't have those dependencies. And so the only person you really have to take care of yourself when you're young is you. But once you start a family and you get married and you have children, and I understand that other people who are listening may have a different experience and they have those other family members who depend on them. So you may have to create, more of a system to make it happen. Right. But if you're in a space where you don't and you can go full fledged, I would say when you can, go full fledged.
And I love that, because again, the thing that I think is beautiful about what you did was you didn't just say, oh, I like to dance. Oh, this is what I want to do. Oh, you really took the time. And as you said, it could be a lot of it was just your preparation, right? And what your parents instilled in you and what you learned in this teacher that really saw something else in you. But you have this clarity, right, about who you are, right? This alignment with really where your passion is and what you're supposed to do. And I think for those of you who are listening, who are struggling with, oh my gosh, I don't know, what is it? Clearly, the first thing you got to do is get really clear on who you are and where you are, right? Before you do anything, who are you and where are you? And then you can start thinking about, okay, what is it I want to do? What is it going to take? Is there something else I need to learn? Or who do I need to surround myself with? Because listening to Danielle, she had done that work. And whether or not she was conscious of that, right, at the time, probably not. When we're that young, we don't know. We just know what we feel.
No, you don't know.
But in hindsight, she'd done that work. She'd had people who poured into her the ability to be really clear about who she was and what her gifts are. And so now you've got this amazing PR business, right? And I think you told me too at one point, and it's in your bio, that you were at Radio One at one point, and
Yep.
you've done some stuff with BET. I mean, you've just done some really amazing things. And if you think about that, part of building, especially you came out of Spelman, which is an amazing HBCU, and you've got your thing, but part of that is also, who is Danielle P. Jeter, right? Who is your brand? And so as you think about this PR work that you've done, the event planning that you've done, the other promotions that you've done for yourself and others, these folks who are trying to decide, what do I do next? Even if you're in a corporation, you have a brand. You are your brand. What kind of advice do you tell people about building a brand for either who they are now or who they want to be?
So my advice for building a brand, and you said it, Laurel, you have to be true to who you are, right? So it starts from a very authentic place, and you being absolutely confident and okay with who you are, because we have like such incredible social media sites today. Viewers, followers, subscribers can really see through anything that's phony, anything that's fake, and they want to connect with real individuals who have authentic, presence about them, who really describe and share what it's like being a person day to day, just a regular human being who goes through life and actually has experiences that are human experiences. So first and foremost, it is being authentic. Secondly, once you're authentic, you'll be able to own your voice and be able to really share what your views are, what your values are, and what's more important to you, and not being afraid or shying back or like withholding or shrinking, but because you understand that authentic part of you, and you know that you can share that. And then also, when it comes to building a brand, the third thing is consistency. Because when you are building your brand, the most successful brands are those who can create community around those brands, and people who feel as if they are a part of your tribe, they're a part of your community. And so that means you have to consistently show up for these people, and you have to connect with them with that authentic space and with you owning your voice. So those three things right there, I'm not going to tell you it's about your colors, it's about your logo, it's about the slogan. It's really about you showing that you're a human, and that you want to be in this space, and that you show up every day, and that you connect with them.
And that's so key, because, I will tell people, and I say this all the time, I hate being on camera. I still hate it. And I've been on camera forever, but I just hate it. And even when I started doing my business, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to be on camera, right? You got to be on video. But I had to think about it from the standpoint of, me being on camera is not about me. Me being on camera is about serving other people, right? So I stopped looking at, oh, what's your hair doing? What's your face doing? Why are your eyes doing that? What, all that mess, because we are our own worst critics, and really about the message that I'm delivering. And so for those that are listening, that hardest part for me was consistency. Not because I didn't want to be consistent, but I'm like, oh, I got to get on camera again. I got to talk to people again. Because I am personally very much an introvert. I'm professionally extroverted because I have to be. And in HR, you talk about people all the time. But I also know, as you said, you touched on it a number of times, our gifts are meant to be shared. Our gifts are not given to us to hold. They expand and they grow when we share them. And I do believe that I am now finally moving into this purpose. I'm serving a greater purpose. That's one of the reasons I left corporate, to serve bigger and to serve better, and to reach people. And the only way for the people that need you to find you is for you to show up.
Show up.
You gotta show up. And that's whether or not it's in your own business, right? And even if it's a product, right? If it's not services, like if you're in a service business and it's just you, like I am my brand. I don't intend to get a big old team. I just been there, done that. I'm not doing that. But I have to show up because I am my brand. If you're in a company, you're your brand. I mean, you have built this business, this PR business. You've got to show up. And yes, you've got a team, but I'm sure there are clients that come to you and they're like, no, we want to talk to Danielle.
Yeah. And the other thing about running your own business is there's nobody there to hold you accountable. Right. Nobody's checking if I decide to sleep in for a whole week,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to really check for me to make sure that
Right.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as the CEO of this business? So that takes a
Yes.
lot of self-motivation and
Mm-hmm.
self-determination and self-drive to get up
Yeah.
each and every day and to handle priorities and responsibilities, because it's nobody else's job but mine.
Exactly. Well, and that brings me to something, because as I'm recording this podcast, it's during a week where I've decided I'm not going to do a new episode, and I'm actually revisiting an old episode. I'm repurposing something on purpose. And I had to really, it took me a minute, right? It took me a minute to say, oh man, you mean I'm not going to do something new, and just, but I have to be my own coach sometimes to say, Laurel, you got to give yourself some grace a minute too. Sometimes you just need a minute. How do you, as CEO, right? Or even if you're not CEO, if you are leading a company, if you're, because leadership is about behavior, not about position. If you are leading a group, if you're leading a team, if you're leading a business, if you are a senior VP, whatever, how do you, Danielle, find time or make the decision to say, you know what, I've been going, everything's great, but I'm going to plan for, or I'm going to decide, here's when I need some time to recharge me. How do you do that? And then how do you prep for that?
Well, that's a really good question. And after years of being in business, it was one particular year, maybe, I don't know, this might have been like year 7,
Mm-hmm.
where, it was coming to the end of the year, and we started getting our books together
Mm-hmm.
for tax season. And we
Yeah.
began to go through our profit and loss statement. And that's my advice. You don't wait to the end of the year to run your numbers. You should actually run your numbers every single week. And you should have weekly goals to hit. Okay. So that's one thing that I've learned.
Yes.
So I waited to the end of the year, and I was so disappointed in our numbers that I had invested so much time, working crazy hours every single week, putting in so much effort into the business for the numbers to not really move.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? That I'm not doing that anymore. That's it. And I'm going to make standard hours. I'm going to make more time for myself. So what I do, I changed my hours, I changed my accountability, and I signed up to be a part of a dance team. And within me signing up to be a part of that dance company, we have dance rehearsals about 3-4 times a week, which means that I have to end work at a certain time so I can transition and go to rehearsals, which is at night.
Yes.
So I began, when I saw that, I said, I'm not going to sacrifice my personal life anymore for the business. Business, I love you, you're everything, but there's more to life than my business. Yes. And so nowadays I am probably one of the most structured people that you'll ever meet. I have work hours. You can't contact me before my work hours.
Yes.
I have work hours where I end. And also on the weekends, I don't work. The only times I'm available on the weekend is if my client books me for any, special event or something that's going on where I have to actually be on site. But that's rare in my business anymore, because we don't do a lot of events anymore. We're strictly media focused, strictly doing media features. So I have I work from 10 to 6. And after that is it. I put everything away. And I also train my team to do the same thing. So if I find them submitting work before our office hours or after our office hours, I just remind them that it can wait until the next time you clock into work. You don't have to feel as if it's immediate and it's urgent, right? So I make sure that all of the people that I'm working with, clients, partners, staff, that they understand the work hours and to know how to communicate with me. So that's one thing that I do. The second thing I do is I prioritize my fitness and workout schedule, or just my wellness. I have a success wellness routine, and I prioritize that. And I take the first 2 hours of each day to just pour into myself.
That's good.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. And then I have quarterly vacations that's already on the calendar.
Oh.
And it just, I have time to just, my R&R, just unwind and just take a moment, even if it's not anything that's, exotic. Last time I did a staycation and I stayed in Miami and I enjoyed. And so just making sure that actually making calendar times on blocking out the times on our calendar is how I keep it accountable. And then I don't feel bad. Like, I don't feel bad by not being always available.
Yes. You know, and that's the thing I think as women, and it's particularly Gen X women, this whole guilt thing of, oh, but I said no. Well, I guess I could do it if I have to, if they really need me. And I was just reading something from Fawn Weaver yesterday, and I'm like, I already reached out to them. I'm reaching out to them again. I'm believing she's going to be on my fireside show because she is incredible. And for those of you who don't know her, Fawn Weaver is the CEO and founder of Uncle Nearest Whiskey. And she
is incredible.
She's amazing. And so she just posted something today. She was doing a mic check on her. She's on her 100-day tour. And she said, you know what? I don't have any problem saying no. No. And my no is fast. My no is really fast. She said, and I say no to almost everything because my yeses are really intentional and I'm all in on my yeses. So they take me a little longer to get to, but I mean them. And she said, and I don't feel bad about saying no. And I thought, wow, there is so much power in no. My no means no. And I'm not mad. I'm not upset. And if you are, I can't own that.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Amazing. And that ability to set, my therapist even says, kind of like you said, she said, you should have at least 1 hour a day, at least 1 day a week, and at least 1 week a quarter. That's completely free time. That's the vacation time. And I'm like,
yes,
okay, well, I kind of get the hour a day. I usually get 1 day a week if I'm on it. That 1 week a quarter, yeah. You are now making me be accountable, Danielle. I'm like, I
think if you plug it in advance and as it comes up, then you know it's already blocked off, right? So then
yes.
It's
all
there.
right, the time is gone. You know, and actually I was thinking about that the other day because my mom is just amazing. My mom is 81. And I'm like, I really want to be spending some more time with my mom. We don't live in the same city. And I was thinking, you know what? I need to find this time. We need to go see some cousins. And I thought, it's my business. I can just schedule the time and let people know I'm unavailable.
That's it.
It'll be okay. I can redo another podcast. I can not do the radio show that week, or we can play an old radio show. I mean, it's not like the world is not going to stop because I am off the
unavailable. Yep.
And you know what? I am better for people.
Good thing.
Yes.
I agree with that too. I am so into my success routines. I have a morning one, I have an evening one. And me having this structure around my schedule because I show up as a better person. I show up as my best self. And you know what they say, you can't pour from a cup that's half empty. So I continue to fill my cup so that I have something to pour when I do come to all of my commitments and into contact with the people that I have to work with and talk to. So, and a lot of times, you know, a lot of feedback that I've been getting, people have been saying, your energy is so green. Like your energy exudes, it's positive, and you're always spreading love wherever you go. And I'm just like, I am grateful to see that the time that I spend into pouring into myself is really helping those around me and really helping the world. So you help other people too when you pour into you because you show up so green and people need that green space.
They do. And so tell us a little bit about, as much as you are willing to share, tell us a little bit about your morning and evening, as you call them, your success routines. Tell us a little bit about those.
I love my routines. It's like the best part of my day. So in the morning, my alarm goes off at like 4:45, 5 a.m. and it's called the Billionaires Club. And so the alarm goes off Billionaires Club and it goes off to a worship song. And I'm not saying that I get up every time on time, but that's when the alarm goes off. And so I tend to get up very early in the morning. And I express gratitude in a number of ways. So I verbally say prayers. I also have a gratitude journal that's digital where I write into my gratitude journal. I do journal prompts and things like that. And it's a whole community. It's actually like a social site. And I love just kind of scrolling and reading through to see what other people are grateful for as well. And that always brings like a positive energy into my space. And so I do a daily devotional as well on my Bible app. And so I start my day, you know, with God, and just making sure that I'm ushering in his presence. And after that, I hydrate, I do my vitamins, and then I put on my workout gear and I'm out the door. And I run about 2 miles a day. And then I do like an outdoor, like a HIIT workout. It's not very long. I might work out anywhere from like 5 to 15 minutes. And I'm out at the bay when I do it. So I'm in Miami, so it's sunny, it's beautiful, it's trees. And so just to be out there to like feel the breeze on me, and that's a whole nother gratitude moment. The fact that I'm able to live at the water. And so I enjoy my time at the park every single morning. And I also meditate at the park. So I'll bring my ear pods and I'll meditate. I'll do something, you know, maybe like a 5 or 10 minute like grounding meditation, or I'll meditate to Bible scripture. And I have affirmations that I recite in my app. I have another app for affirmations. And so I write affirmations and I affirm myself in the morning. And I have this long document that's called my, it's called my like vision map. And my vision map really details out, I'm talking to the future Danielle, and I'm bringing her into, I'm manifesting her into life. And so it just breaks down, you know, how I'm going to live and what I want to do, and how I'm going to change the world. And it also lists out my goals. And then I have declarations that I say for my family, my friends, my business, my community. I have more affirmations on there. And then I have my rules, and my rules remind me of how I live my daily life, my day-to-day life, what time I wake up, what I do, what time I go to bed, how I spend my time, what I don't tolerate, what I do tolerate, and where I'm going with my life. And then once I'm done all that, also a social media post is definitely in the routine because I got to show up. And
got to be consistent, got to be showing up for people. Yes.
I show up. So I do my posts in the morning, and I make sure I do all my postings. And once that's done, that's pretty much my morning routine. And so then I run back to the house, I get dressed for the day, and then I start at 10 a.m.
I love it. I love it. That is, and I think, you know, the thing, there were so many things I heard in that. But the big thing I think is that you have found something that gives you so much grounding and keeps you so aligned and gives you, that fills you up so that you can pour into others. Right. And as my friend Holly says, you got to be a little selfish in order to be selfless. You have to be able to focus first. And I say, put your mask on first, right? You got to be able to realize that you only get this one vessel, right? We only get this one life. We don't know how long it's going to be. So it's important to give as much as we can to show up as our best selves. And I will be the first one to admit, I do not do that well all the time. I spent a lot of 30 years in corporate, making sure that everyone else was fit, making sure that everyone else got what they needed, making sure, you know, and being in constant conflict, because not on my watch, we're not going to lie on my watch, right? But depending on the organization you're in, that's a constant battle. And so you don't realize how you get into those habits. So I'm speaking to you, folks who are watching me, who are saying, oh, but do I have time for that? Is that really, look, let me tell you something. It is just as easy to develop a habit that Danielle talked about as it is to develop a habit that you did over the 5, 10, 15, 30 years you did in corporate, because that's like the corporate habit is like boiling a frog, right? It's the water heats up so slowly that you don't realize you're almost dead until the water is boiling hot, because you've just gotten used to you've gotten used to the environment, right? It's heated up so slowly. You've gotten so used to just giving the extra, doing the extra, just 1 more minute, just 5 more minutes, just 1 more meeting. And the next thing you know, you've got a calendar like mine with no white space in it, and you're not sleeping on a Sunday for 5 years. You can develop a good habit just as easily as you can over time develop that bad habit of forgetting who you are and forgetting why you're there and losing your value because someone else is telling you that you don't have value. And that's not okay. And it's not true, because you are valuable because you are here. Right. So Danielle, as we end, because I could talk to you for another 3 hours, and we're going to have to do this again. And by the way, the great thing is, stay tuned, because we're going to have Danielle and I are going to be on my fireside show, which is live. So you'll be able to come and talk to her and ask questions and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have that happening in June. So stay tuned for that. But as we end the podcast, what is like one good piece of advice that you would give someone who is in this moment making a decision? They're listening to this podcast on the way to their job. They may love it, they may hate it, but they're not quite sure what they want to do, but they know something could be different, something could be better. What's the one key piece of advice that you would give somebody?
I got this advice recently, and it's something that I want to share with you.
Okay.
I started adding in a grounding meditation, which is a very specific type of meditation. Mm-hmm. And so the grounding meditation really helps to ground some of your chakras. Now, I'm not going to go into detail what chakras these are, because that's not my
right.
lane.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. But I'm like, just, yeah.
If you go to YouTube, what I did was I found, grounding. I put in grounding meditation, a 5-minute one, a 10-minute one. And it's not, you don't have to do anything lengthy. You might just be starting out with meditation, and it's a guided one. So you want to find a guided meditation and just try to put this into habit. Try to do a grounding meditation every single morning and have a journal with you. And when you're done with that meditation, whatever comes up for you in that moment, in that session, journal about it in your personal journal. And I found that a lot of different things came up for me. And it might not be a million things. You might just have one thing that comes to mind that brings clarity. But when you ground yourself, and a lot of times it suggests that you do it where you can be connected to the earth. So maybe out in your lawn or in your backyard or by the trees or in the park. It's going to bring something up in your spirit. And whatever that is, write that down and start to find clarity. It will help you find clarity in those moments. And so that's one of the great activities I want to share with you. It's a mindfulness activity. And for sure, I know for sure that it will help you make decisions and at least just have some clarity in certain areas of your life.
I love that, because everything I do is about alignment, vision, action. That's what I work with my folks on, alignment, vision, action. And my logo is a tree for a reason, because I believe, I call it the root ball. What is your root system? What is it that grounds you? So that is perfect from my perspective, right? See, I'm telling you, divine.
I'm right on target then.
Yes. I mean, and it's perfect. And for me, that is friends, family, faith, and health, right? And that health is health with a big H. So financial, physical, emotional, mental, right? All of that health. But that grounding, that getting out the first thing in the morning, taking a big breath, looking up the trees, recognizing how blessed I am to be here, right? And just being the best I can be in every day. And so I highly recommend what Danielle is saying. Go find you a grounding meditation, a guided meditation. And sometimes it's hard. If you're just starting meditation, it can be hard. It's hard for me. My brain is really messy. Always has been. And I had someone a couple of weeks ago say, we have the fallacy that meditation is about quieting your mind. Meditation is about being okay with the messiness of your mind and understanding the beauty of that and what you can get out of that. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I'm like, quiet is just not, right? It's not going to happen for me. So Danielle, this has been so incredible. I'm so glad that we were able to connect. You are such a joy. And I am so glad that I know you now. You are now in my village. And I'm so excited about that. And we are going to definitely do Fireside. And I will make sure to have all of your information in the show notes. And if there is a way that people want to reach out to you, if they're looking for some PR work, if they know somebody who needs PR, how can they find you? And we'll put it in the notes too, but how can they find you?
Sure. So coming up immediately, you can check out my mastermind group, Meetup, the number 2 millionsmastermind.com. And there you can find access to me and my community, where we actually mastermind around your business through marketing, branding, sales, systems, and funding, where we will next level your business to 6, 7, and 8 figures. So if you want to find a group where hands-on, we can work together, that is the first immediate place to go to. If you go to my Instagram at DPJeter, click the link in my bio, you'll find all of the other information and ways to work with me as well.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. And definitely find yourself a really good mastermind, folks. It makes a difference. Find yourself a coach. Even if you're a coach, find a coach. Coaches need coaches, just like physicians need physicians, right? Therapists need therapists. We all need someone who's outside of us, because I have so many physician heal thyself moments, right? I have to tell myself, Laurel, you tell nobody else, give themselves grace. You got to give yourself some grace. So find yourself a great mastermind, find yourself an amazing community, find yourself people like Danielle who have figured it out and who are confident and clear and focused and disciplined and consistent, and surround yourself with people who are going to help you level up. As they say, you know, if you want to tell me about your business, tell me who you're surrounded with, the 5 people you surround yourself with. That's what they say, right? And evaluate yourself on a regular basis, because every once in a while, I have to go look at that, because my village is really, really strong and they're amazing. And so, but we can often get in touch with our village and not necessarily the village that's the different village for business growth, right? There's different neighborhoods in your village, right?
It's different. So it's different.
Make sure you got all the neighborhoods you need to get where you need to be. Yep. So Danielle, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your gifts that you shared with us. And I am so appreciative.
Laurel, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm so excited that we're connected as well. And any ways that I can support you moving forward in your journey, you can call on me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And for all of you listening, thank you for tuning in to the Rutledge Perspective. Again, I appreciate every listen, every download. I know you have a choice in what you listen to, and I do not take it for granted that you're choosing to listen to me. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we will catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to the Rutledge Perspective podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and for connecting. You can find previous episodes of the podcast on my website at laurelrutledge.com/podcast. You can also find me on social media at Laurel K. Rutledge and/or the Rutledge Perspective. And I'd love your perspective on the things we talk about. And if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, just let me know. And please share this podcast with someone in your village who may need this little piece of perspective today. And if you're so inclined, I would really appreciate a 5-star rating and review on the platform of your choice. Apple Podcasts and Spotify reviews are particularly helpful. Thank you again for listening. Take care.